We have the metaphors, which are comparing two things that saying one is another thing. Then we have our personification, giving human qualities or characteristics to an animal or object. Alliteration is a sound device used to repeat the consonant sound at the beginning or nearby words. Sally sent Susan some soup. Sensory language are words that appeal to the senses. Imagery, that's another way of saying sensory language. And then we have hyperbole, which is an exaggeration. I told you a million times to stop talking. I probably told you about that many times, but have I told you probably a million? Probably not. So that is figurative language. What? Maybe a couple thousand is right. Another type of figurative language is an allusion. Allusions make a point to reference well-known person, event, places, or forms of art. Most often when poets use an allusion, they want readers to feel a special connection between the poem and something else. So we're going to practice finding examples of figurative language as we read the art of poetry. So turn to page 361, please, in your books. Wonderful. 361. Get to my page. All right, so on page 361. So here's our question we're going to be looking at. What kind of figurative language does J. Patrick Lewis use and explain its meaning? So looking at this poem, Necessary Garden, language said libraries are necessary gardens, unsurpassed at growing excitement. So, what type of figurative language Sit up. Sit up. Well, now that's the type of poem it is. What type of figurative language, like simile, metaphor, alliteration, does the poet use? Well, what's the whole poem about? Not the art of poetry. We're looking at just necessary gardens. What are they comparing in the poem, Necessary Gardens? Libraries to gardens. It uses a metaphor to compare a library to a necessary garden. Because libraries are filled with wonderful books, and the best way to grow excitement about literacy in young readers. Yes, ma'am. Is it an emergency? Can you wait a little bit, please? Okay. All right, let's go to page 364. Remember that an allusion is a reference to a well-known person, event, place, or form of art. We're going to look at the illustration and reread the poem to identify an illusion. So here's our question. Which famous movie character is referred to in the poem? And what does the illusion help you to understand? So looking at just the illustration first. All right, now let's go to the story, the poem, excuse me. It says, the big word girl. Of all clever girls I know, Elaine's the one who counts. But what she counts are syllables. And words I can't pronounce. I took her to a horror show, Godzilla meets Tooth Fairy, but she could not unglue her eyes from Webster's dictionary. She put her trembling hand in mine, Godzilla smashed the floor, for she had come across a word she'd never seen before. But when the lights came on, Elaine was sound asleep and snoring. I woke her up, she yawned and said, how uncustomarily, extraordinarily, incomprehensibly boring. Sit up. So, which famous movie character is referenced in the poem? Godzilla. What does the illusion help you to understand? What does the illusion help you to understand? Well, why do you think the author or the poet put this in there? Because Godzilla is scary. And what is it comparing it to? Not the movie. Not the Tooth Fairy.
The smashing of the ground.
Not the smashing of the ground. The girl. What about the girl? Because she found a word that she cannot pronounce. So she's very smart. And she reads through the words with ease. And Godzilla is very big. And she can read Godzilla-like words with ease. She's very smart and has very advanced vocabulary. And 370. Quiet water. We're going to be looking at examples of figurative language. Here are our questions. What examples of figurative language do you find in the poem, and what comparison is being made and explained? It says quiet water. Water before it plunges down a waterfall is as still as a mirror facing the sky. So, what examples of figurative language do you find in the poem?
Simile.
What? A simile, yes. What is a simile?
As.
Yes, it uses like or as, but what is it comparing?
As a mirror facing the sky.
All right, so it's comparing the stillness of the water like a mirror that is facing the sky. Very good. All right, we're going to go back and we're going to read the alphabet soup one and the other one, so you will be ready for your test. because we've read the other ones already. All right, eating alphabet soup. My advice to the tablespoon slurper, beware of what you do with that spoon. The capital Sir can cause quite a stir in a bowl full of alphabet soup. While K, Z, and B do the backstroke across this hot, steamy lagoon, the fun-loving vowels may want tiny towels to dry themselves off on the spoon. But when letters go swimming together in sentences nothing can beat, the pleasure of reading the food that you're eating, so dive in and bon appetit. And then we're going to do the balloon and the arrow one, and then better fun, and then we will do our test. Huh?
What type of test?
It's just a reading comprehension test and a passage with a poem passage with questions, like 5 questions. It says balloon. When it first slipped out of my hand, I was sad to see my balloon floating away. But as it rose higher in the sky, I imagined it landing in some faraway yard where a kid like me would find it, wondering how far the balloon had flown and who held it last. And that thought made me smile. I'm not going to keep trying to wake him. It's a never-ending cycle. The arrow and the song. I shot an arrow into the air, it fell to earth. I knew not where, for so swiftly it flew, the sight could not follow in its flight. I breathed a song into the air, it fell to earth, I knew not where. For who has sight so keen and strong that it can follow the flight of song? Long, long after in an oak I found the arrow, still unbroke. And the song from beginning to end I found again in the heart of a friend. And then our last one, better fun. Yes, Evelyn. What you got? What, buddy? Say it a little louder.
Did he shoot his friend when it said I found again in the heart of a friend?
I found again in the heart of a friend. That's a song we can. So they're comparing the arrow and the song. Shot an arrow into the air, it fell to the earth, I know not where. For so swiftly it flew, the sight could not follow in its flight. I breathed the song into the air, it fell to earth, I knew not where. For who has sight so keen and strong that it can follow the flight of song? Long, long afterward, in an oak, I found the arrow still unbroke. And the song from beginning to end, I found again in the heart of a friend. So, it's not specifically talking about a friend. It's talking about he found it back in himself. Just like he found the arrow, he found the song that he enjoyed in his heart. Does that make sense? What was your question again?
Yes. Did he shoot his friend?
Did he shoot his friend? No. He did not shoot his friend. No, he just shot an arrow into the air. Why you would do that, I don't know. All right, then let's look at better fun. Cruising this river on a rubber boat at full speed, bumping our way to the base of thundering falls, to end up completely slapped and drenched by the cool river water, beats by far any amusement park attraction. Whitewater rafting. All right. I'm going to pass out the test. Those on the computer, I'm going to get it on the computer in just a moment. We're going to work on that, and then we're going to do our chameleon activity. Remember, I said if we got our test, but take your time on the test.
I didn't know it was a chameleon when you hide
Well,
it over there.
yeah.